That wordless wife left that woman before things got worse. Once they thought I was asleep, my husband and his mother changed completely. They left home, but came back shamelessly, saying they didn't want to lose their money, causing chaos. When I confronted them, "My name's Daisy. I'm 30. I got engaged to Brad after dating him for 5 years. We lived with his parents in their house. We planned to buy our own home when we had our first child. It's been almost 2 years now, but we haven't had a child yet, and we're still living with his parents. Living with my husband, his mom, and his younger brother, I often worried those around me. My parents lived far away, needing a flight to visit, and they regretted not being able to help more. Luckily, my husband was always kind, and I had a great relationship with my mother-in-law. We were so close that typical issues between in-laws didn't affect us, making me really happy. Then I had an accident and broke a bone. I was in a hospital, unable to move on my own. Right after the accident, my husband and mother-in-law visited me daily, concerned for my well-being. But now they only come once a week. I appreciated their visits, but the day after the doctor warned me about lasting injuries. She can't do any chores now, but she's going to cost us more than ever. What a useless wife. She still has health issues. Having kids seems even less likely now, right? Yeah, maybe. Now that it's like this, I'm glad we don't have kids. If she stays in bed forever, I'll have to do all the chores and care for her. That's not what I signed up for when we got married. Wasn't it her job to take care of the house and everything? If she hadn't gotten hurt, she could have kept working as our maid. What a letdown. Before this gets too complicated, we should get rid of her. I'll file for divorce soon. Thinking I was asleep, they had this conversation in my hospital room. To them, I was nothing more than a maid and caregiver. After that, my husband and mother-in-law treated me with obvious coldness. Your husband hardly visits, does he? He's probably looking for someone else. If only you had a child, maybe he'd stick around. My husband wasn't even coming once a week anymore. My mother-in-law seemed to pass the time by making hurtful remarks. But my brother-in-law was different. He did the laundry, checked on me, and was very supportive. He visited almost every day and took me outside in my wheelchair when I felt trapped by my long hospital stay. Physical therapy was exhausting, and there were times I wanted to give up, but my brother-in-law's support kept me going. I'm not getting worse, and my physical therapy is going well, but it's still uncertain if I'll have any lasting issues. When I shared this with my husband and mother-in-law, really? See, I told you we should have gotten rid of her earlier. They started arguing about me. What are you two talking about? Aren't you being too harsh on Daisy, who's been taking care of our house and father all this time? In reality, I've been looking after my father-in-law for 5 years while dating my husband. When we first started dating, they suggested, since you're going to get married anyway, why not live together? Yeah, that sounds good. We can save money by living together and get married once we're settled. When I hesitated, they reassured me, it's fine. We have plenty of space, we won't intrude on your privacy, and you won't have to pay rent. You want to marry my son, right? How could I say no? But in return, Daisy, could you help take care of my father while you work from home? It's just for 4 to 5 hours a day when my mother is at her part-time job. My brother is also here, so you two can share the responsibility. My brother-in-law was also working from home, so he and I teamed up to care for my father-in-law at home. They had a close bond, especially over my father-in-law's hobby of collecting furniture, for which he even had a separate house. My brother-in-law and I enjoyed hearing about his hobby. My father-in-law cherished his caring son, Reagan. Over time, my father-in-law's health worsened, and after years of care, he passed away. After that, my husband proposed to me, saying, "Thank you for always taking care of my father. Let's stay together and get married." Despite my efforts in housework and caregiving, once I became unable to move, my husband and mother-in-law treated me as if I were worthless. Even I, normally calm, felt furious. "I insist you pay what you owe." "Well, I want to avoid any trouble, so I'll let you have the house. Let's forget about dividing the rest of the property." I wondered if he would really give me the house, but my father-in-law had left a substantial inheritance, which was divided among my mother-in-law, Brad, and Regan. Each of them received around $300,000, so Brad seemed financially stable. Regan was tasked with handling all the paperwork with the executor and had to make multiple court visits, which was quite a hassle. "No way, we can't give up the house. If we split the property, I'll lose half of my savings. It's just a big house in the countryside. Even if we give it to her, it's not a big deal. At best, it's worth about $100,000, and we'll have to deduct various fees when we sell it. It's cheaper than losing half of my savings." "Well, if you think so, Brad. But what if she asks for more later? What if rumors start spreading in the neighborhood because we left her?" The two argued over what to do with me. "Then I'll take her in," Regan, Brad's brother, interrupted. "Why would you do that?" "You've had your eye on Daisy, haven't you? That's why you're so willing. You can have her if you want, but she's no longer any use to us. Don't expect to come back asking for Daisy or the house later." "Sure, why would I? Just make sure you don't come asking for money later. And remember, you can't return damaged goods." Brad and Reagan finalized the property transfer with legal paperwork through a lawyer. "I'll take some money for my savings. You should find a younger, healthier, prettier woman to marry and build a better life. Sound good? Hey, Daisy, get a lawyer to start the divorce process quickly," they said. They planned to stay in a hotel for a while and left the room. Regan and I silently watched them leave. I needed to find a lawyer to start the divorce process. With Regan's help, I filed for divorce, and within a few days, Brad and I were legally separated. A week later, Brad and my mother-in-law packed their things and moved out of the house. It felt odd that Regan, Brad's brother, continued to visit me. "Now that I'm no longer married to your brother, you don't have to worry about me," I told him. "I'm doing this because I want to. Our connection wasn't just because you were married to my brother. We've worked together caring for Dad and managing the house. We've talked more in these 7 years than my brother ever did with me. We're friends, right?" Regan said, smiling gently. All I could do was express my gratitude. A month later, I left the hospital. Even though I still had physical therapy sessions to attend, being home after such a long time felt like a relief. "Do you think they'll really come back?" "I'm worried they might return and make me work again." I expressed my concern to Regan. "If they do come back, I'll make sure they leave. I can't forgive how they treated you so badly. Besides, they have no right to return to this house," Regan reassured me firmly. Since I still couldn't move well, Regan took care of most of the household chores. Luckily, I could continue working from home as a freelancer, which helped financially. With regular physical therapy sessions twice a week, I recovered smoothly without any issues. A year later, I regained my independence and Regan and I shared the household duties. We spent more time together, even taking trips on our days off. Just as I thought our peaceful days would continue, a sudden storm approached. One night, while Regan and I were having dinner, someone knocked on the door and kept buzzing the intercom. Anxiously, I answered, and it turned out to be Brad. "Hey, let me in," he demanded. Worried about disturbing the neighbors, I reluctantly opened the door, and Brad walked in without hesitation. "What do you want?" I asked, feeling uneasy. "Huh? Why do I have to deal with this attitude just for coming home? This is still my home. Tell me what's going on and make me something to eat," Brad replied. "What are you talking about? You're not living here anymore," I responded firmly. "Oh, I'm hungry." "Daisy, make me some food," he ordered. My ex-husband demanded that I make him food. "Hey, stop. Why are you here?" I questioned, trying to keep my composure. "Well, I've almost run out of money. My mom will be here soon, so leave the door unlocked," he replied casually. I stayed silent, and he continued, "Oh, you're all healed now. That's great. Let's get back together. You must have struggled without me." My ex-husband, still under the mistaken belief that I cared for him, approached me with an unwelcome familiarity. His audacity made me feel sick. "Enough. I divorced you. I don't care about you anymore. Don't act like you're in charge. You've been living off my money this whole time, only capable of doing housework," I retorted firmly. "Just do as I say and shut up," Brad shouted. Just then, the door opened, and his mother walked in. "You left the door unlocked? That's careless," she scolded. "What's going on here? She's getting too bold," she added, noticing the tension. "So I was just giving her a bit of a lesson. She's gotten tough in the year we've been away." Brad and his mother began to settle in again, acting as if they belonged there. "This is enough. This isn't your home. I'm calling the police," I asserted firmly. "Oh yeah, about that. This house was originally in your father's name, right? So technically, with my mom and the inheritance, our previous agreement is null and void," Brad claimed loudly, making an unreasonable argument. "You promised to give me the house. If you're backing out of that, then everything about the property division should be canceled too. Give me half of the savings." "Sure, but I don't have it anymore. Didn't I tell you before? I spent it all. I quit my job, blew it on drinks, risky investments, you name it." Brad's words shocked me. It was unbelievable that he could have spent such a large sum of money in just 1 year. "I also owe about $20,000 in consumer finance debts. Can you pay it off for me?" Brad asked, and at first, I thought he was joking, but his mother confirmed it was true. "I can't lend you that much money," I replied firmly. "I'm not asking for a loan. I'm telling you to pay it," Brad insisted. "I'm not giving you any money. I'm calling the police," Regan declared as he dialed emergency services. "You've gotten bolder in the past year. You're just trying to show off because Daisy is here." Brad started causing chaos in the house, even damaging the precious furniture that held sentimental value from my father-in-law. His mother joined in, laughing as she destroyed the furniture. That's my father-in-law's and aunt's memories, I pleaded, but Brad and his mother continued their rampage, ignoring my protests. About 10 minutes later, the police arrived, and I explained the situation to them. This is quite a situation. Let's hear your side of the story, the police officer said calmly. Huh? What's wrong with me breaking things in my own house? Brad retorted defensively. That's right, we're just getting rid of things we don't need. What's the issue? His mother chimed in. Seeing the police unsure how to respond, Regan intervened. This house has never belonged to these two. It's in Daisy's name, Regan clarified. What nonsense are you talking about? Brad exclaimed in disbelief. In fact, our father-in-law left a will through a lawyer before he passed away. You probably weren't aware. You took what you were told and left the rest to me. So this house has always been Daisy's, Regan explained calmly. When I confirmed this, Brad and his mother were stunned. So this isn't your property then? Oh, wait, but I'm her ex-husband. We're like family, right? Daisy will forgive me, Brad pleaded. Don't be ridiculous. Once you're an ex, you're a stranger. I didn't even know you were seeing another woman before our divorce was finalized, treating me like a maid, I responded firmly. No, that's not what happened. I was just following what my mom said. She made me do all this, Brad protested. What are you talking about? Your failed business, your failed relationships with young women, your gambling debts. Are these all because of me? His mother retorted. She then revealed that after our divorce, Brad had tried to marry a younger woman. He had also quit his job to start his own business, which failed within a month. Even though he had money initially, he became reckless after being rejected, gambling and claiming he could afford it. Now he was almost broke, with nearly nothing left. You brought this upon yourself. This is all Brad's fault, so please at least forgive me, his mother pleaded, their previous condescending attitudes replaced by desperation as they tried to shift the blame and beg for forgiveness. The police, having heard enough, began to take control of the situation. Regan and I stood our ground, making it clear that neither Brad nor his mother had any right to the house or my forgiveness. This is really unbelievable. No, I won't forgive either of you. And this isn't something from the past, is it? You were treating me like a servant just a moment ago, right? Not leaving when I asked you to is illegal. Also, the furniture collected by my late father-in-law belongs to me now, so you need to pay me for that. But all right, we'll pay you back. Just please don't call the police. You wouldn't want me to go to jail, would you? I actually don't care at all. By the way, we're married. It turns out I married my brother-in-law, Reen. Well, he was my brother-in-law before, and now he's my husband. It hasn't even been a year, and you've moved on to another man, my own brother, at that. What are you talking about? You moved on before you were even divorced, didn't you? You wouldn't give Daisy back to me no matter how many times I asked. Brad was left speechless. I don't care anymore. I'll pay for any damages. How much for my idiot husband's stuff? Well, if we calculate roughly, about $100,000. Huh? The furniture my father-in-law collected was all high-end pieces made by famous designers. Brad and his mother, who had no interest in these items, seemed to believe they were just junk. You're going to pay for what you've broken, right? We're not sure if we can get the same items, but make sure to pay properly. Brad and his mother, unable to afford such compensation, were distraught. For now, the police took both of them away for trespassing and vandalism. Of course, I didn't forgive them and went ahead with the lawsuit. Later, when Brad and his mother asked Reen for help, he bluntly rejected them, saying, I'm ashamed to even be related by blood. Brad and his mother were likely getting what they deserved. There's one more thing I kept secret. My father-in-law had told me to sell the house and use the money as I wished. Reen had told me the house was worth $100,000, but the documents actually showed it was worth around $500,000. It's in a good location, so it might sell for even more. But for now, Reen and I decided to take it easy in the house my father-in-law left us with no plans to sell it. Eventually, we planned to sell the land and build a new house. I had some worries about having children, so after marrying Reen, I went to the gynecologist for a checkup. There were no issues with either Reen or me. Now, with the troublemakers gone, Reen and I are living happily together.